Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 84, and I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. And of course, I'm joined by my co host, Scobie1.
What is up, everyone? How are you doing? Welcome back.
What's going on, buddy? Yeah, man, so we're going to dive right into it, man, because I'm really curious to see here how you have more games played this week than me. So I'm really curious to see what game piqued your interest the most. Was it Resident Evil 4 or was it Jedi Fallen Order? What's going on
Oh,
here?
first off, you've earned this. This is what you get. Don't push me. No. No, definitely. I'd have to say most played right now is gonna be the Resident Evil 4 remake. Absolutely spectacular. It looks fantastic, but I got to admit, I do not remember this game being this hard 18 years ago. There's absolutely no way that 16-year-old me was able to handle this game so easily. This game has hurt my feelings and keeps me coming back. And I just can't wait to see the other things that they've been able to do with this game. It's still great, still hard, still fun, looks fantastic. Other than that, Jedi Fallen Order, I'm playing that because we got to get ready for this Survivor coming up here at the end of next month. And then normally, my normal Hogwarts Legacy, just bouncing around in there, doing my thing, living in my best wizarding life, and then Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, and I finally did get around to playing Blackmail
Okay.
when that first dropped. Might have been a little bit too hyped for it.
Okay.
I'm still a little uneasy to see on how I'm gonna like it, but so far all of these have been pretty well thought out, well made games, and hopefully Blackmail will be able to live up with the Resident Evil 4 and Jedi Fallen Order, but
Right.
it looks a little bleak right now. What about you? I see Atomic Heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, finally beat
Finally
that.
A-okay.
Yeah, finally added it to the list of games beaten this year. I think that was my 11th game beaten this year already. I'm pretty much on par at beating one game a week currently. I think I'm one behind, but with my other game that I just started streaming was Tinykin, and it's a really short game, more of like a platformer. Kind of has like that old school like Spyro kind of feel to it, just like you're trying to collect all the stuff and unlock certain areas and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun. Probably gonna beat that this week for sure. So that'll be my 12th game on the list. But just circling back to Atomic Heart, I know last week I was pretty harsh on the game, and I think at the end of the game, the story just tied up really well. The gameplay got a little bit better, and just because I had all my abilities in at that point, I didn't run out of materials all the damn time. Like it just got to a point where, all right, yeah, this game's fun now. It's not like I'm trying to scavenge and do 13 other things when I'm really just trying to do one. So I think in the end, I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10. So it went up a point from last week's episode because it was getting a 6 at the time. But now I think it's going to get a solid 7, which is going to be on my scale a good game.
That's really good for your scale. That's
Yeah.
really good for your scale. It's a perfect 5 out of 7.
But yeah, man. Other than those two games, we've been playing a lot of Warzone lately. Almost every night it seems like. But I was up until 3 a.m. I was telling you before the stream playing the game, and I think I caught a total of 3 dubs. I think last night, so that was good.
I was there for 33.3% of them. I'm a fan of that. It's okay. Lots of second and third places. Lots
Yeah.
of me having no business being in there after 11:30. Uh,
Yeah, and I folded on that one, man. That 1v1 to win the game, and for some reason I couldn't shoot through the car in the window, and it's just like
it's what
you
happens. Yeah,
can't hit
it's
him.
1 out of 4 men generally have that type of performance issue.
Yeah, as long as
So
you're in the Discord chat,
as long as you're in the Discord, it's 1 out of 4 men.
right?
So
What?
what's up with Tinykin over here that I'm seeing as well?
Yeah, that was the game I was just alluding to, where it's kind of like the Spyro game, like with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
platform and
Yep.
stuff. It's really fun. The story is really simple. You're really just going to these different realms. Really, you're like literally like a small person, and you're in this like massive house, and you're just trying to collect these artifacts, is what it is. But they're really just like a funnel, some fucking snowboarding goggles, just random items, and they're gonna be built together into this like one machine at the end with the scientist, and we'll see where that goes. So it's just I think I have like two more things I have to collect, but like in these areas to collect them, you have to like unlock or do like a certain challenge or mission in that area. But to be able to do it, there's like a lot of like puzzles and solving and trying to get to certain areas, and it's actually really surprising. If anybody wants to check it out, it is on Game Pass, so it's an easy one there. But yeah, man, let's dive into what's coming out this week, though. I think this is going to be a pretty solid week when it comes to game releases here, and I'm just going to kick it off with the one that I'm most excited for here is Crime Boss Rockay City. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, did this one get delayed? Because it shouldn't be on the list if it did. But it's one of them that I'm really excited for because it's loaded with fucking like big time actors in it, and it kind of reminds me of like the whole what is it, Crackdown meets GTA kind of thing. But
Yeah, it
it
looks
looks
like
really
a
cool.
street cred red redemption.
Right, it's fucking insane, especially like the actors that are in it. I mean, you got Michael Madsen, you got Danny Trejo, you got Danny Glover, Michael Rooker, Chuck Norris, Vanilla
I was
Ice.
gonna say, is that Chuck Norris on the cover? I'm
Yeah,
looking way in the back. I'm like, no way.
yeah. This is like loaded with fucking big time names. So I'm hoping it's gonna be a fun game. And it's coming out here on the 28th, as long as it's not getting delayed. I think it's the previous gen got delayed, so the Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and the PC version is coming out here on the 28th. So I'm really looking forward to that. But out of these other ones here on the list, which ones most are you most anticipated for?
So I'm gonna have to just go as normie as possible here. The Last of Us on PC.
Okay.
I love the hype that the show has brought to the game. It'll be nice to be able to sit here, play through that, and help connect like when users on PC, if they haven't already watched all of the cinematics, it'll be nice to watch them connect that lore in the game with what they were able to do on the TV show. And I think it's also going to make a better appreciation for the TV show itself,
Hmm.
with how really true they were to a lot of the story and even the scenes almost shot for shot.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to that to see how that comes out. Depending on how bad Resident Evil beats me into into submission, that one will be up on my list pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah. I've never played The Last of Us. I have it on my the bookshelf here behind me, and it's a game that I plan to get to, and it's one of them that I want to check out on the PS5 whenever I come across one of those in the future here. And it's perfect timing. I mean, this game was supposed to the remake of The Last of Us Part 1 for PC was supposed to come out like a couple weeks ago, but they decided to delay it just because they wanted to make sure you finish the show and then you can go play the game. So that's pretty awesome there. But man, another one here on the list here I'm super excited for is Sifu. This was a PlayStation exclusive about a year ago, and it's finally coming to Xbox on the March 28th. I'm just really hoping that it comes to Game Pass. I think that'll be a solid addition if they do somehow announce it this week. Like, hey guys, it's coming to Game Pass day one. Then we're golden. If not, I may wait to pick this up because I don't know if I feel like dropping money on brand new games when I have a ton of games that I got to get to as it is already because I really want to get to Hogwarts Legacy. I still keep telling people I'm going to play Rage 2, so I mean, my backlog is insane. And it's only getting bigger with every week.
Same. We just had that Steam Spring Sale, and man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of my up to like I think mid calendar year 2025. I think then I'll finally have a little bit of free
Yeah,
time.
probably not.
No, probably not. I just threw money at Steam. I'm never gonna play the games.
Right.
Honestly, probably.
Another big one though this week. Obviously, we just had a World Baseball Classic just ended with Japan beating the United States, and obviously the MLB season kicking off here on the 30th. But you get to play baseball before the real players do with MLB The Show 2023 coming out on March 28th to all platforms. But the highlight here to me is it's coming to Game Pass day one, and it will forever be a running joke because this was a PlayStation exclusive. It is made by Sony Entertainment. And it's great because it's coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. And
Day one.
and PlayStation users, sorry, but you got to buy the game. It's not part of PlayStation Plus Premium or whatever.
I feel like that's just another notch in the PlayStation's fucking up belt.
Yeah, they're doing really good at that.
I mean, if there's one thing they're good at, it's not doing what they should be doing
Not for the consumer at
to
all.
keep, not for their players at all.
Yeah, so that's awesome to see there. But I think all the other games here on the list don't really have me really excited for, but maybe they do for you. But we got Colossal Cave coming to the Xbox on March 28th, along with we got Terra Nil, which is coming to the PC and then mobile for iOS and Android on the 28th. And then ending it out for this week is Dredge, coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 30th. So it's a game that's coming to pretty much like every platform. It's a game being developed by Black Salt Games, published by Team 17. It's just like a simple adventure game. Doesn't look too crazy. It looks like almost like an indie developed game. So it might be good, might not. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Actually, I forgot. I didn't scroll down far enough here. We got a couple more here. The Last Worker on the 30th, coming to all platforms, including the PSVR 2 as well. So that's another game that adding to that long catalog because you figured it when it launched, it came out with what, like 30 plus games, and now we're
Yeah.
already getting another new one really quick. And then Citizen Sleeper, which is the game we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago with the new DLC that's coming out, and it's on Xbox Game Pass, but now it's finally getting its PlayStation release, so it's coming to more gamers there. So that's awesome to see. And rounding out here, this is a surprise. We're getting Cosmonius High coming to the Quest on March 31st. So we're
Yeah,
getting a brand new game for the Quest.
I remember seeing that. I was like, the Quest, really?
This is
I
the
was
game
like, all
that,
right.
but it already been out on the PlayStation VR 2 since the release of the VR 2, so it's just a month later it's coming to the Quest. So I guess it's cool to see, to see a top end platform already that quick. But yeah, man, that's all the game releases this week. Nothing too crazy. I know we're kind of burning through this. It's just not much really going on, honestly. But let's we're gonna go into a 3 minute ad break here. So anybody that is a subscriber, you'll be able to check out this 3 minute content that we're about to talk about here. If not, we'll see you in about 3 minutes. So Scott, what's going on here, man?
So I feel like I almost called this about 2 or 3 episodes ago when I was like, I think we're at the end. We're at the crux of video games, movies, things like that, because everything coming out is a remake.
Yeah,
It is a remake, it is a remaster, it is a retelling, anything like that. But there was an article about 4 days ago that I had seen where it was 9 of the 10 current highest critically acclaimed games in 2023 are remakes,
yeah,
and it's about to be 10. That was before Resident Evil 4 came out, and Resident Evil 4 has been just accolade after accolade after accolade. I've played it myself; it looks fantastic. So where are we sitting here with any originality in a lot of these games, um, and still have them as high rated as some that are just remade? Is it nostalgia? Is it, maybe the games didn't have the technology to be as good as they could have been?
right.
Currently, we're sitting with 90% of games that are 9 out of 10 or higher are remakes.
Right, and
So,
as everyone can see here on the screen right now, I got to pull up the article that Scott shared in our Discord. I mean, look, Metroid Prime Remaster, Witcher 3, the high def version, basically the next gen update, Resident Evil 4
which
for
we
the
had talked about
PS5.
a month.
Yeah, Tetris Effect Connected. That was a game that came out with the original Xbox Series X
Mhm.
in 2020. Resident Evil 4 for the PC, Resident Evil 4 for the Xbox Series X. Persona 4 Golden, Dead Space remake, and then we finally got a new game, Hi-Fi Rush, which was an original release for the Xbox
Mhm.
and PC, and then finishing out was Persona 4 Golden for Xbox Series X. So like you said, it's crazy to see that most of the top 10 games right now are all remakes or remasters, basically,
Yeah,
or
yeah, and
re-releases.
it's nutty. Once again, it just keeps feeding that constant fear that I have that we've reached the end. We've reached the end of really really good original games that aren't continuations, that aren't anything like that. Uh, we'll just have to sit tight and see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm just curious to see like are we just running out of ideas when it comes to games, or like you were alluding to, like maybe the when the games were first made. I mean, we can kind of see it. the games were way ahead of its time, and bringing it into to the now allows that game to be at its best possible like form. I mean, Dead Space was a phenomenal game that I played through, and you're playing through Resident Evil 4, and these are some of the greatest games of all time from '07 and or like from all those time ago, and now it's the greatest game again. So
Exactly. It's just coming back it's just coming back to remind everybody why it was so damn good in the first place.
right,
And it's one of those things like, hey, if it was ahead of its time, would this have been considered its time if this was an original drop? If it
right,
was an original drop that wasn't, a big AAA like that everyone knows and loves, would it have gotten the same recognition it had gotten?
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. We'll see.
so curious to see how that really kind of unfolds and see what we get
Yeah,
for the rest of the year.
for sure. And welcome back for all the non-subscribers. Be sure to make sure you drop a subscribe if you want to avoid those ad breaks and catch up on any exclusive content that you may miss out. But yes, guys, let's dive into the industry news. We got a couple good things. We did get an update for the Activision Blizzard and Microsoft deal, and basically it's being greenlit pretty much. But before we get to the greenlighting part, it was confirmed that Microsoft did kill the PlayStation version of Redfall. So Redfall was originally going to come out on the PlayStation before the acquisition, and then Xbox was like, we did say when we bought this, and the deal went through that each game will be on a game by game basis. The
Hmm.
Redfall was never promised to come to PlayStation. It just so happened to be it was in development. So we do got to keep that in mind. It's not like there was a trailer out saying, "Hey, this game's coming out for PlayStation and Xbox. Be on the lookout for that." And Xbox was like, "Nope, it's not coming to PlayStation now." So it wasn't made publicly yet at that time. But I do feel bad for those developers that were put all in the time, resources, money into making that PlayStation version, to then just get scrapped.
Yeah, it feels like it's one of those things where they're twisting the knife at this point. I feel. I mean, Redfall already looked great, and I mean, I know a lot of people were excited for that, and although it was never, promised, everything was there
Yeah.
to lead everyone to believe that this was gonna come there, and then Microsoft just goes, done, pack,
Yeah.
pack your shit, get out, like you're done. So yeah, big power move by Microsoft there to just call that quits. All that money, all that time, all that energy, especially from the actual people that have been making the game.
Right.
You gotta feel for them for a little bit because they're just caught up in this back and forth bullshit.
Right. And
And all they want to do is make a damn game.
right. So, and basically, I understand that Microsoft did this because they understood how good this game is or could be, because it does come out in May here. But right now, it's access to certain outlets right now where they're playing previews, and they're already putting this game in. Yo, this game might be game of the year. Like, it's already in game of the year talks, and the game's not even out yet. Like, it's
Yeah.
that good of a game. So that definitely has me really hyped for it. I think it's a 3 or 4 player co-op game, so I know me and Roger are going to be definitely playing it. Maybe we can grab you in there, and it's Game
You already
Pass
know it's
day
gonna be on
one.
your boys' list.
It's Game Pass day one, and I know you're a Steam user, and it does support
It's already
cross.
in my queue. It's
Yeah,
already in my queue, baby.
and it does support crossplay as well. So you'll be able to play Steam, Epic Games, Xbox. Doesn't matter. You'll be able to play together as well. So that's always a plus there. But in regards to the green lighting, though, the CMA did release their updated information, and this is a quote from the article I was reading. The CMA has provisionally concluded that the anticipated acquisition by Microsoft of the Activision Blizzard will not result in a substantial lessening of competition in relation to the console gaming in the UK. And basically, they're just saying, okay, if Microsoft buys it, it's not going to change. It's not going to make them a monopoly. Call of Duty is coming to every platform. It's coming to more platforms now because of the Microsoft deal. So it seems like a win-win for everybody. So, but their only concern is around the cloud gaming market because they understand how massive Microsoft has a grip on that cloud gaming market because PlayStation doesn't have a cloud gaming. They have a deal with Microsoft to use the Azure platform for the cloud based stuff. And there's not really many other out there. I mean, you got a couple of the ones that they
Amazon.
signed, yeah, Amazon Luna, and a couple of the
Yeah,
ones that we
like
talked about last week where Microsoft signed those 10-year agreements with, which were cloud based programs.
yeah.
So
And
we'll see.
I feel like it's coming to a close, but this is like now. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, but this is starting to feel like the end of Return of the King in theaters when you had 5 endings. The screen goes black. You're like, oh, that's it? Amazing end to this story. And then as the screen comes back up, and you're like, oh,
Okay.
we still have more things. We still have more things. Awesome. And it's like every week is like it feels like they're just kicking this can down the road. Just call it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna be out of a lot of content, but
Yeah, right. I mean, they can keep going. I mean, we got a long ways to go. We got the FTC still. We still got the EU as well.
Yeah.
Gotta go through this. So, but the CMA, that was big to find out that yeah, they understand that they're no big deal, but they're just doing their part.
Yep.
I mean, if these guys weren't doing their job, then I'd be really questioning them. Like, hey, why are these deals just going through and just having no
Yeah.
filter?
The due diligence is always necessary. It's just one of those double-edged swords where it's like you know you have to do it, you have to respect the due diligence, but you're like, damn, can you like
Hurry
do
up.
diligently a little faster? Like
Right.
just let this shit go.
Can you just bring
Uh,
Call of Duty to Game Pass already? And
Just
then,
go ahead and put Call of Duty on Game Pass. Call it. Everyone's happy. Nobody else cares. It's over. There you go.
Right. But the other side of the pond here with Sony, they filed an interesting patent here where they're going to patent a cross-platform NFT trading framework for gaming. And I'm just like, what? Like, can we please just keep NFTs out of video games?
Yeah, they have no business whatsoever
Not at all.
to be there.
It
They
just
don't
doesn't make
need
any
to be.
sense. Like you're like it was already bad enough dealing with microtransactions. Now like you're monetizing the microtransaction to a whole nother level.
Yeah, God.
And it's just like I understand the patent like if NFTs are really coming and then it comes down to like games like CS:GO, right? CS:GO you can buy a skin or have a skin and then it's exclusive, only fucking 4 people have it, and then they eventually sell it later on down the road and they can transfer it to a player and that shit sells for $500,000. I guarantee PlayStation saw something like that with that CS:GO skin that for the AK that just was sold. And they were like, "Ooh, we need that on the PlayStation, and we need parts of that because we need money from that."
They go, this is gonna be really awesome for our players.
Yeah, yeah,
And for those of us that will eventually hear this on Spotify, maybe see this, we'll hear this, but not see this. I'm making the money rubbing sign with my hand directly into the camera.
yeah,
This is gonna be really good for our users.
yeah. So I please keep NFTs out of here. But Scott, what is going on with Rust here?
Man, lots of bad news coming out of that. So for anybody here that is a fan of Rust, then you might be a little bit aware that there was going to be a community event for Rust players. Rust developer Facepunch Studio was planning to hold a special small event next to the Game Developers Conference 2023 in San Francisco. It would have taken place probably around like a coffee shop and allowed people to meet and chat with some of the game's creators, just kind of like hanging out, very informal, not a panel, anything like that, talking like you and me here.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, Facepunch Studios announced on Twitter that it has canceled the event following what it referred to as an IRL threat we must take seriously. So they went on to say that the fans that want to share portfolios, get feedback, or talk shop can still get to them via email. So they are still making themselves available for the players of the game. But this in-person event will not take place because of these threats, the quote-unquote death threats that they were receiving. So Rust producer Alistair McFarlane confirmed that there were threats to kill members of the team. As the event details had been made publicly, they were forced to cancel it, and McFarlane went on and said that the threats of physical violence against the developers are unfortunately common, and community-facing staff see threats daily. So we've got to do better.
yeah,
The players, that's god awful. Yeah, and so that's what they have been dealing with when it comes down to that community event, unfortunately. And they had to go ahead, and this small few had to ruin it for the large amount of people that probably were gonna be there.
right.
So yeah, not a good time. But speaking of not good times in gaming, another sad story, dark and darker for anybody who is a fan of this dungeon delve player versus environment game setting. So that was removed from Steam following a DMCA Takedown. A little bit of backstory on this: about half of the developing team for Dark and Darker is from Nexon. And so what had happened was Dark and the development team for Dark and Darker had they'd been removed from the platform following an alleged cease and desist letter from the Japanese South Korean publisher Nexon.
Hmm.
Um, so this comes with some back and forth allegations between the two companies. Basically, Nexon accused Iron Mace, which is the studio developing Dark and Darker, of stealing game code for a project that was at the time titled P3. Now, this was once again Nexon's baby thing that they were doing, but with half of the development team coming from Nexon, having that, it might not be the same, but it rhymes an awful lot.
Right.
So it's allegedly very, very similar to Dark and Darker. And with some of the members who came over from Nexon being involved in the development of P3, you know, that starts with some of the cease and desist. Hey, you guys are stealing our shit. Like we were talking when what was it? The Westworld game got
Yeah.
sued by Bethesda because
Yeah.
they're like, hey, those are our bugs. Those are that's how we broke the game. That's what you guys are doing. So almost the same thing here. So Iron Mace very quickly denied these allegations, but they were raided by Korean police in early March.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but they did say to all our fans, we have recently been served a cease and desist letter and a DMCA takedown by Nexon regarding Dark and Darker based on distorted claims. We are currently working with our legal team to remedy this issue in the best manner possible. Due to the sensitive legal nature of this issue, we must be careful with our statements so as not to jeopardize our position, which is a smart move for them.
Right.
I think when you're dealing with this, when somebody's saying, hey, you stole our game, and especially for a game that has been this kind of widely popular, stealing that is a big deal.
Right.
Huge no-no.
Right.
Capital no, capital no.
Right. I mean,
Um,
look at what we talked about last week when that game was basically stealing the complete animations from Elden Ring, I think it is.
from Elden Ring,
Yeah, and you're
yeah.
just like, I'm pretty sure that game and those developers are going to deal with the same kind of situation as what's going on here with Dark and Darker.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully they can come out of this. They can get back in, and we can all play some Dark and Darker, and I can continue to get my ass beat. Uh, it was fun though. But yeah, that's really what's coming out of the Dark and Darker. But I am seeing some other things coming out of the gaming industry, specifically, I believe Ubisoft.
Yeah, man.
What's up with
So
Ubisoft?
this is actually some pretty interesting news, just because there's a lot of AI news right now with the AI chat bots and the AI technology that you can basically be like, hey AI, can you write me a paper about X topic or whatever, and people and kids are using that, and they're taking those papers and basically counting them as theirs and submitting them and using them in school, but that's probably one of the worst ways of using it, just because of like that's cheating. Like you're not putting any work into that kind of stuff. But Ubisoft is developing an AI tool that is aiming to support scriptwriters. Basically, it's going to allow them to. It's going to be used for NPC phrases and sounds. So the NPCs that you walk by and like they randomly say shit. Like there's going to be meaning and purpose behind those, as opposed to like they just say something random as fuck and you're like, that has like, why did you even say anything?
So this kind of reminds me a little bit of what Bethesda had promised with the Radiant AI in Skyrim.
Yeah.
A little bit, where like based off of things that happen to you, the player character, the world, that would determine outcome and dialogue from NPCs. It
Hmm.
would open up new topics of conversation. It would open up things like that. Now, I don't. Maybe I'm the only one that hasn't seen too much from the Radiant AI. I mean, they've only had 11 years, so hopefully, when they finally sit down and get some time, they might be able to go ahead and take care of that. But this seems like a better upgrade to something that we hadn't gotten really much before.
Right. But yeah, I'm just
Um,
curious to see where this goes and how it's implemented in a lot of games, and whether it's the NPCs and what they're talking about, but also maybe like their interactions with the player as well. like, and then not overdoing it, because there was some, like when I was playing one of the older Assassin's Creeds, like Assassin's Creed 2, there was always like that same one type of character in the world that would always run up to you and just fucking heckle you the entire time, like just, hey, can you help me and do this, and like no
Every
matter
time,
what
yeah.
you did, it's like they always came up to you, and it's like you copy and pasted the same exact character from one town to the next. Like, do something
Mhm.
different. Like, have them do something else. Ask for help. Like,
Yeah,
people
the
have different personalities. You can't have a copy and paste of the same exact person.
well, and we refer to that as the cookie cutter,
Yeah.
the cookie cutter NPC, and this, I guess, is going to aim to get rid of that entirely, which will be nice. It will be, I believe it will make a much more immersive experience for the player character, because you're not getting, you got any coin, you got this, you got that, and
Right.
those are the only lines you see from an NPC.
Right.
So hopefully there will be something that will, it'll take the events of the game, take those into consideration. If this destroyed, then ask question.
Yeah.
It basically like if thens, or things like that, or if then, or
Yeah.
will,
All the
that
cause
kind of
and
stuff.
effect trees. Yeah.
Yeah, to see what'll happen there, and see how the AI takes it. I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting development. I mean, if they hit off with this, then we could see this everywhere
Right.
very shortly.
Right. And I mean,
Uh,
Ubisoft has been struggling with a lot of their games anyway as of lately, and I think that this could help them take that next step and evolve as a game
well,
developer.
and not only that, it's a money saver. You
Hmm.
don't have to have somebody sitting there coding NPC dialogue the entire time,
Right.
when you can have an entire program that you just feed and say, give me NPCs that care about something. Give me NPCs that like flowers. Give me NPCs that saw the volcano. Just stuff like that.
Right.
And that will also help, because you could take that development team that you had originally put towards that, put them in story,
Right. Right.
like actual things that we are going to pay attention to for sure. Ignatia Wildsmith just flew Powder Network the entire time, just busting your shit, cutting off cutscenes. Can't wait.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, like you said, it'll be interesting to follow and see the ever evolving development of the AI tool within game development. But on to our next ad break here. This one's gonna be about 2 minutes. So if you guys don't want to see the ads, you want to join into this exclusive extra content, be sure to drop and subscribe to us right now for all of our ad break conversations. But see you guys in about 2 minutes. All right, cool. So Scott, I know you're about to use the bathroom. I'll talk here with the
Yeah.
guys, and any ladies that are in here. But the streaming platforms, man. Obviously, we stream here on Twitch, for the podcast, and obviously, anytime my playthroughs of my stream, they're always on Twitch, and there's not really any other options to stream on. You got YouTube game or YouTube streaming. That one's not really that great.
Your Facebook, people just coming in too little, too late.
Yeah, and then the thing with Facebook though is that they officially removed the path to partnership. So like, you can stream on there for free, but you're never going to get any money out of it. So then
Yep.
now you're just wasting time on Facebook. And then obviously we see what happened to like Mixer and all those other programs. Boom, gone. But
Yep.
there is a new one on the rise called Kick, and it to me looks like a copy and paste of Twitch. But in the end, this guy, he was a Twitch streamer, Trainwreck's TV. He basically said, "All right, I'm gonna go create my own thing." And it sounds pretty cool because all of the streamers automatically get a subscribe button, so you're not trying to work to become an affiliate and then
Or
try
to
to do
get it
that.
and then get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's even better is that you're getting a 95 to 5 split on revenue instead of like the 50-50 or whatever we got right now with Twitch. So because Twitch already doesn't make any money even at 50-50, like they literally say we make no money from running this service at all. So it's like, damn, like that shit's crazy. And then Kick is over here like, yeah, we're just gonna pay you more. Just come stream over here and
Yeah.
us. I'm just really
Yeah.
eager to see how that evolves.
I mean, I feel like that's it could be a competitor. I'm waiting for them to get a DMCA cease and desist letter,
Right.
like Dark and Darker did. But I mean, yeah, I mean, 5% for doing 0% of the work. That's a small fee. A
Right.
lot of that'll probably go towards the maintenance and the fees for keeping the site alive.
Hmm.
And I think is gonna definitely put a lot more money into the streamers' pockets.
Right.
But interesting to see uh, a would-be competitor
Yeah.
come into the field, especially this late. Um, so I mean, anything that takes money out of Jeff Bezos's pocket, I'm for. That's okay to me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
moving on here to our gaming news. Here, you can go ahead and use the bathroom if you want, if you got to. Yeah, I'm just going to start kicking it off here with our Xbox news here. Some really interesting news here was the Independent Developers Conference that they had recently. They did announce they're going to be helping all of these independent developers create physical versions of their games, and there's no longer like there's not really much of a minimum requirement. It's really low, so it allows them to be able to put out those physical copies because people love to still collect games. As you can see here behind me, I love collecting my games. I haven't bought a physical copy in a while, but I would definitely love to. And this program is relatively still new and early, so it'll become available to more developers as time goes on. But we'll definitely follow that as that keeps going on. But in regards to some more Xbox news, we got Hellblade 2. They did release a new facial animation trailer, and Jesus, does this game look incredible. I'm going to throw the trailer up on screen here for you guys to check out. And this is basically they use the Unreal Engine 5, and this game just looks fucking insane. I'm really excited for this one to come out. Scott, did you ever play Hellblade 1 at all?
I did not. I did not. And watching this when this came out, definitely made me regret that a little bit. So, and I mean, like you were saying, son of a bitch, this looks good.
Yeah. I played the first one and I really enjoyed that game just because of the nature of it. Like Hellblade is really about like mental health, and that one really dealt with like schizophrenia and different diseases like that. And then this is just a continuation of that story, and would love to see how they dive into it more. And just the game itself just looks really beautiful. This was one of the first games they announced for the Xbox Series X, alongside when they revealed the Xbox Series X at the Game Awards. So we have not seen or heard from this game in a while, and I want this game to come out this year. I think we could see Hellblade 2 releasing here at the end of the year. But it's pretty cool to see the different technology that they use with the whole mocap to be able to capture that. So definitely be on the lookout for that game here soon. And then some unfortunate news for Game Pass, but not really. Just the game departures for March 31st. And Memoir Blue, which is a game that I played and beat. It was a quick like 2 hour game about like a mother daughter connection story. If you haven't checked it out, be sure you do. If not, you could do get 20% off with Game Pass as well, so you can buy the game before it drops off the platform. But then another one is Chinatown Detective Agency. I heard that's really good. Cluster Truck, Double Dragon Neon, Kraken Academy, MLB The Show 22. No brainer because we got MLB The Show 23 releasing 3 days before that one leaves, so no big deal. And last but not least, Scott, I know you're probably upset here, but Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is leaving Game Pass.
I was literally the day that I was gonna go dig my Xbox out of the basement and get this hooked up and subscribe to Game Pass. They decided to get rid of the only game that made me want to do it.
Yeah. So,
But side note to any Power Ranger fans out there, any of you guys watching right now, any of you listening in the future, Power Rangers, Once a Ranger Always, I believe was the title of it, is gonna be dropping on Netflix,
yeah.
starring the original Power Rangers
Yeah. I thought that
that
was
we
pretty
all
good.
know and love. So at least if I can't get it on my Game Pass, at least I'll get it on my Netflix. Thankfully, something something's there to satiate my need while they continue to not work on another Power Rangers live action movie.
Right. And honestly, I mean, with the new movie and the TV show, whatever coming out, like I'm really surprised that they haven't thought about doing a like a new game. Honestly.
And honest, well, yeah, it has the perfect makings of what could be a game.
Right.
I mean, it's everything that makes games good. You play individuals, you get their individual powers. Like you could kind of swing this, like better ranger. Certain rangers are better for certain missions,
Right.
and you could do that and then
And it has the whole
control the Megazord. Like,
the whole co-op experience too, like being
yeah,
able to play with your friends and choosing which color Power Ranger that you want to play as. Like that would be it to me. It's a no-brainer. Make a
are
modern
you
day
listening,
Power Ranger game.
Saban, Hasbro?
Hasbro, right?
Y'all do this?
But
Yeah, police and
but
thank you.
let's move on to some huge fucking news that came out of left field. Is the announcement of Counter Strike 2. This was revealed the other day, and basically it's doing what Overwatch did, because it basically took Overwatch 1, reskinned and called it Overwatch 2, and just made improvements to the game, and then obviously adding some new content. But Counter Strike 2 is coming out hopefully this year is the plan. I do got some trailers here that they kind of released, kind of breaking it down. Um, let's see, the official Move and Beyond tick rate trailer. So I think this was just kind of the breakdown of everything.
Yeah, and seeing this come out, like there were hints, but like nothing that really was anything more than like, people just going, oh man, I think Counter Strike 2 is dropping. Maybe this. I
Yeah,
give me your source. I made it up.
yeah, right.
Give me your source. It came to me in a dream. That kind of stuff. And then they just dropped the hot toddy on us. I mean, huge news for Counter Strike players.
Right. And the biggest thing here is whenever this is finished running on this video, I can show you guys is really just something that's really impressive that I think other games should potentially implement is the responsive smokes from like smoke grenades. Like when people
Mhm.
throw the smoke grenades and then like they throw a grenade, which you'll see here in a second, the grenade after the smoke grenade makes the smoke disappear, or like when you're shooting through it, it like opens up like a corridor because obviously something shooting
You
through it,
have
it's
your
blowing out.
yeah.
It's all responsive, and I was just like, holy fuck! And then just
You have your
watching
air
some
pressure
people,
differences. You have things like that. Yeah.
like watching some of the early streamers play this game, and you can see the smoke. I mean, it looks fucking phenomenal. But just having that extra thing, and it fills areas. Like it's like a legitimate thing. Like it fills volume right there. You can see why. Watch the grenade. Boom, opens up the smoke. Make a
Yep.
quick shot. And it's just this is really impressive technology that I would love to see. That even like this would be perfect for Valorant. Valorant has a shit ton of smokes.
Oh yeah.
And
And I mean, you don't even see this in Call of Duty right now.
yeah,
When you,
no,
I mean, in Call of Duty, you drop that smoke grenade, it goes, okay, a circle this big, that is it. And yet, as you had just seen in this, what I want to say, gameplay,
hmm
in this gameplay where you saw that entire tunnel, it didn't go, you make a circle this big, that's it. It goes, well, here's the tunnel. Here's how much smoke would actually fill in this tunnel.
right,
Uh, Pretty great technology right there. Pretty good
yeah,
ideas when it comes down to that. So you're not, a 50-foot tunnel. You pop a smoke grenade and it's only 10 feet in front of you. No,
right,
like it would fill further down that 50-foot tunnel because it's not going left, right, and behind you.
right.
It's going all in front of you.
Right, and
So
as we
just
saw
the
at the end of
volume.
the trailer, it is coming this summer, 2023. Perfect time because summer games in summer is pretty lackluster. So, Counter Strike 2 coming out in the summertime would be perfect. One good big positive thing from this though is that they did confirm that everything that you got in Counter Strike or CS:GO, excuse me, will carry over to Counter Strike 2, and
And
that's
that's
awesome.
very much unlike
Overwatch,
what was it? That small indie developer
Call of
that
Duty,
did the Call of Duty game. Yeah,
yeah,
the Call of Duty game. Yes, that one. Yeah, they just didn't have the money to make sure that you could pull your stuff over. Hopefully someday when they get big enough, that'll help them. And this will be a good starting point for them to
yeah,
base off of for when Warzone and Modern Warfare 3 ultimately come out because we just all keep playing the same shit anyway.
right.
So they're gonna keep putting out the same shit anyway.
Right. I mean, it's the year of remasters, right? That's basically what
Yes,
we're
sir. Well, no, we're getting Black Ops 1 remastered, so it's gonna be Black Ops 1 2 is
yeah.
what we're getting next. It's gotta be
Yeah, that
at
makes
this
sense.
point. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on here though to we were just talking about Power Rangers, obviously, but one of their competitors from back in the day here, Teenage
The
Mutant Ninja
other
Turtles. Yeah.
fantastic group ninjas, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So not a remake, but it is gonna be a telling of the story from The Last Ronin. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin is going to be coming out. It's looking to be a AAA action game. Basically, they're working on. There's going to be some inspirations from like God of War, things like that. So this is going to follow the 2020 comic that came out. I'm not going to say any spoilers to anybody here in the live, to anybody that might be listening to this. So this is going to follow the storyline of the last remaining turtle. The last remaining turtle, hereby dubbed the Ronin,
Mhm.
uses the sai, the dual katanas, the bow staff, And shit, give me a second. I promise. Sai, katana, bow staff, nunchucks.
Yeah, about nunchucks.
Yeah, nunchucks. So has all four. Like that was the biggest mystery regarding the original comic was who is the last turtle. As everyone knows, it's just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
So
I
they're
don't
making a
even know.
game regarding this, basically just surrounding this entire story. The comic line was great. The other three turtles basically just in succession killed by the Foot Clan, and now it is up to the last turtle to go and fix that shit.
Oh,
I'm looking forward. I mean, if they're looking at a God of War inspired sort of thing, where they're gonna kind of mirror that a little bit, not steal the code. Looking at you, darker and darker. Um, looking at you, Westworld. Um, I can't see anything being bad about this game.
right.
I mean, as a huge fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was a kid, I mean, I had that big like sewer set going on, all that stuff.
Right.
I'm really excited to see how this is going to play out and how they're going to put this onto a playable format.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. This sounds like an awesome premise. Even when they did announce and release that comic back in 2020, I was like, oh shit, like there's only one turtle left. Like, what the fuck happened to the other ones? And that was something I eventually wanted to get into and check out. But this will allow me to check it out at a more my pace here. So being able to check out that game.
Well, it'll be more of like a living it
Yeah.
instead of just reading it sort of thing.
Right.
Like you get to go through it, which I'm gonna like. It's what I love about here, the Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the stuff, but man, just sitting there and doing it, like every time I hop in, I'm like, I'm not gonna do main quest still. I'm gonna go do all the other things that I want to do. I want to go race brooms. I want to go do this, and here, I want to live this little experience as the last turtle, and get some justice
Yeah.
for my brothers and Master Splinter. R.I.P. to a real one.
Yes, sir. But on to our next topic here. Elden Ring was in the news, but this time some good stuff here.
So we had already heard about the Elden Ring DLC coming out, but now Elden Ring is going to be getting ray tracing. So excellent for them. This is going to be coming out on the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X, and the PC, and this will be coming out at patch 1.09. So 1.09 for anybody who's looking for ray tracing, download it, install it. There you go, ray tracing.
Right. And that was just released on March 23rd, so just a couple of days ago. So
Yep.
definitely go check it out. But I really wanted to add on to this because I haven't played Elden Ring yet, and it's a game that I may or may not play. But it just makes me wonder because a lot of games do this. Should you play games when they first release, or should you wait a year, 2 years down the road when it's at its highest fidelity possible? Like playing Elden Ring already looked good. It's going to look 1,000 times better with ray tracing enabled. So
Man, what a can of worms to
yeah,
open.
right. And it's just like
Um,
because it makes me wonder because like I've done this with Dead Space. Never played Dead Space until I played the remake. Looks 1,000 times better. When I played Mass Effect 1 and 2, I got to play 3 still. I played it on the Legendary Edition, so I never played it originally. I played it now, and it's just like Elden Ring, same kind of concept, just the same game being updated later. Wait to play the game, you play it at a higher fidelity.
I think this goes back to our talk a little bit ago when we were talking about the remakes, when games were ahead of the time.
Hmm.
Now, granted, ray tracing was already out when Elden Ring came out.
Right.
They just didn't do it.
Which that's
Um,
another question. Why? Why wasn't it there at launch?
they already had. I mean, I would say after playing the game, they already had so much other shit they had to worry about. And especially when it did release, with the price of graphics cards that could do ray tracing,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that shit either.
Yeah.
To be honest. I wouldn't have done that shit just
Well,
because like I mean I got this what on this is I have the 6900 XT. That's like $1,000 graphics card. I got it on sale with a discount for like 1600 because the shit
yeah.
was still so fucking high. It has ray tracing. I think the 5000 series might have had it. Anything before that I don't think did. Uh I wouldn't have bothered either. I wouldn't have bothered. I would have turned my focus on like what can we do with the game that we do have right now
Hmm.
instead of worrying about ray tracing.
Right.
and get that out. Like you had said, the game already looks fantastic, and it did look fantastic. It had some issues with the FPS stutter in the beginning,
Hmm.
but it did still look fantastic. So if the game already looks fantastic, the game already looks great, and the game is in a highly playable state.
Yeah.
Ray tracing is a nice to have, not a need to play.
Right. Yeah. I definitely agree. I'm just gonna throw a wrench into this and play devil's advocate. We cannot forget that they were creating a second game at the same time, Armored Core 6, which is releasing here in the coming months. Why did they focus on creating another game that has been done and ready to be sent out to all the players a year in advance instead of worrying about making sure we release this game with every possible feature?
I don't know. I really, really, really wish Roger was here right now because my immediate response is go
Yeah.
ask an Armored Core fan if they're okay waiting another year because Elden Ring needed ray tracing. They would probably tell you to fuck
No,
off.
I mean I get it. Those people that are
No,
waiting,
that's a very valid question because they did have that. They did have that. They did have the manpower. They did have the means to do that. But at the same time, like once again, if you're gonna, I wouldn't put something out. The games are. I mean, the game was already complete. Once again,
hmm
these are nice to haves. These are nice to haves. These are not necessary to run.
yeah,
They already had a complete game. They had a complete game that played well, looked amazing.
right,
I wouldn't have spent. I also wouldn't have spent the resources worrying about ray tracing when I can take those resources and start working on the second game that's gonna make me money.
right, yeah,
Armored Core.
yeah. It definitely makes sense for sure. But I guess my argument here is that we've had these next gen consoles for almost 3 years now, and ray tracing is a next gen feature, and we still struggle to have games that have next gen features.
I think there were overpromises when it came to the next gen and ray tracing. It's not that's just not as easy as the next gen console told you it was gonna be when they were trying to sell you the console.
Right. Well, my console can do it. Give me the game with it. Take as long as you need
And
to. Delay the game.
guess what? Now if you decide to play Elden Ring, you are gonna have ray tracing day
Right.
one.
I don't have nothing to worry about because I
You
waited on
have
this game.
nothing to worry
But
about.
I play a ton
But
of games
this
day
is gonna
one.
be really really nice for the people that did play it, beat it, and are waiting for the DLC because now they're gonna have that DLC and ray tracing.
Right.
But I mean, how are you doing on Wulong?
We haven't played in a few weeks, so not
Okay,
sure yet.
I'm just double checking.
Yeah, me and Roger definitely got to hop back into it because it's been fun since me and him were playing. It's just we haven't had our schedules in line to allow us to play because obviously we're busy folks, and
Yeah,
it's only going to get
because Elden
busier.
Ring is Elden Ring is very unforgiving.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not looking forward to it if it's
And it's
worse than
about to be
fucking Warlock.
really, really unforgiving with ray
Yeah,
tracing.
it's gonna look fucking
There we
beautiful when
go.
I get pissed off
It's
at it.
gonna look
Right,
like
the
it's gonna look
monitor,
beautiful. You're gonna be the most good looking corpse
yeah.
on that fucking floor. I promise you.
um, but man, let's move on to another dark fantasy kind of game here. Lord of the Rings Golem, right? What's going on with this game?
So we're getting a May 25 release date. It could be PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, and the PC. Everybody except Switch. Sorry guys. So May 25th, we're looking at that. Nintendo Switch later this year.
Yeah,
Once again, we've been talking about the Nintendo Switch's ability to play these games as they come out. We're still not very confident in that.
yeah,
This is just another piece of, hey, not a lot of people are very confident in the Nintendo Switch's ability to
right.
play this day one. They still have to do with some other things to take care of that. But we did finally get a date, May 25th. I'm gonna be hopping around, me and my precious, just chilling in Middle Earth. Can't wait. Looks great.
Yeah,
Gonna have fun.
yeah.
That's
It
more
looks
of
good.
a
It
yeah.
definitely looks
That's
good.
and that's more of like a story like line for me. You're gonna see the things that Gollum got to do in between
The
getting
movies,
taken to Minas Morgul, getting interrogated, and yelling Shire Baggins, and the other things that happen in the actual books and beyond that.
yeah,
So it'll be another great little piece of lore that you get to put in there. So there it is, May 25th.
yeah.
They're gonna be hopping
That's
around
really
on all
exciting.
fours.
And I'm just gonna play this card here because we talk about what's next for the Nintendo Switch, and we keep coming into the thing. Oh, the Nintendo Switch version's coming later. It's coming later. The fact that they keep delaying Nintendo Switch versions is making me more and more alluding to the fact that we might see a Nintendo Switch Pro or Nintendo
I
Switch
think
2
I think we're gonna see
soon.
something. Yeah,
Like
we're gonna see
all of
something
these
because
developers know that.
Because Nintendo Switch is getting the last gen console treatment.
Yeah, and that's
That's all
basically
it's
what it
getting.
is. I mean, yeah, it's what it's going to get, and most of the time, because in theory they could release Lord of the Rings Golem via cloud, like all of these other big games have
Yeah.
done, but they clearly don't want to do that. They want to put the game natively on the Nintendo Switch, but the Nintendo Switch cannot run it even with the OLED version. So, is there a Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the new Nintendo Switch, whatever? Because they're terrible at fucking naming their consoles.
The Nintendo Switcheroo.
Yeah.
There it is. You already got it. That's your new title for your new console, the Nintendo Switcheroo or Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo. Who cares? Just go ahead and give it to us, so people can play some day one games that they want to play
Right.
on the console they want to play it with. But speaking of games that aren't coming out on Switch,
Yeah, we got
what
another
else
one.
are we looking at?
Yeah, this one here. This one was when I seen they got its official release date for May 23rd. Miasma Chronicles is coming out on May 23rd for the PS5, Xbox Series X and X, and the Xbox One, along with the PC, which is surprising. My guess Xbox One might be via cloud with that whole thing that Xbox does. But it's a tactical RPG being developed by Bearded Ladies Consulting and published by 505 Games. Seemed pretty interesting. It was on the PlayStation blog, so I was just like, PlayStation never has any news, but they're advertising this, so let's throw it in. Let's throw it into the mix here. So maybe it'll be another good game. It seems interesting. I don't know if this will be a game that I check out, but I wanted to throw it on here because in hopes that Roger was going to be here. This seems like a game that he would potentially check out. But would you check this out? Because apparently this
I
is like
think
it's a take on like XCOM basically kind of style game.
Yeah, and I think after looking into it, it's definitely something that could pique interest. Just kind of hang out, play, nothing. I mean, not give two shits. Not now when I say two shits, like sitting here, like it's not as real time as like Warzone or something. Like it's something I could sit back and enjoy and just kind of play and roll through.
Right.
It definitely does look enjoyable in that sense, and especially during my non-competitive times, I'm looking for things that I will be able to sit back and kind of just chill with. And this looks like one of those games. It really, really does. I also wish Roger was here to look a little bit more into this for the Miasma Chronicles to see how he's feeling about it. But hopefully next week we can talk about that a little bit more. Maybe do a quick recap.
Yeah, we might be able to, and just give an idea here what the premise of the story is. Says from the
Yeah.
creators of Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden comes a beautifully crafted tactical adventure you won't forget. Embark on a quest across a post-apocalyptic wasteland torn apart by a savage force known only as a Miyasama or whatever the name of the game.
I believe it's Miasma.
Yeah. So it seems pretty cool. I love the setting of the post-apocalyptic in general, whether it's TV, movie, game. So maybe I check it out. But I don't really play a lot of tactical RPGs in general. But I do want to eventually check out Midnight Suns, Marvel Midnight Suns, and maybe this will be another one that I give a go. Might be a good one. It looks good.
Yeah, like I said, it looks great. Looks enjoyable. Looks like one of those ones that you just sit back, you chill, and you play the damn game.
Right, and another game that you will be sit back and chill that got a release date is Park Beyond, which we were just talking about this last week or the week before that. Man, like where's Roller Coaster Tycoon? Like where are these park simulator games? And Park Beyond is finally getting its official release date this summer, which oddly enough, that's usually when the amusement parks open, summertime. But this one is coming out on June 16th, and this is a next gen only game. This is a PS5, Series S and X, and a PC game, and it's a fucking park simulator. Like, why are we still getting the previous gen for like Lord of the Rings Gollum when that should probably be next gen only? But
So
eager to see.
unfathomably based, absolutely. I maybe not devil's advocate, but yeah, no, I'm 100% for stop wasting time making games for past gen consoles.
We're 3 years into next gen. Why are we
I
still
know.
worrying about it?
I know. Now, there's a lot to be said about availability, and so I do. It's a very double-edged sword
Yeah,
because you got to stop wasting the time making the games for past-gen consoles, but you also still have to understand that some people don't have the next gen still, even if we're
right.
3 years into it. That doesn't matter. Some people don't have the next gen console.
But no one's going to
I
want to
think
upgrade to the next gen console if they keep making games
if
for
they
the console
keep
they have.
making, yeah. Well, it's also not one. It's also can you? Is it this as they continue to make consoles a little bit more expensive every year?
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at half a grand for an Xbox S.
Yeah, right.
And some people just don't have that to drop. So I'm still very happy that some of these games are making themselves accessible to people that still have the past gen consoles.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to see that some people are digging in and saying we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're done.
You want to play our game? Get the new one.
Yeah, yeah, and it's one of those. It's going to be it's going to be a catalyst to see really how affordable can you make the next gen console while still you know having the hardware and availability to play the next gen games that are going to come with it.
Right. Yeah. So another game that got an announcement and release date. This one was kind of another one from left field, but there were some leaks and rumors leading up to this conversation that eventually led to the official reveal. What's going on in 2K games?
And this one is actually coming to Switch. So Switch players rejoice. 2K games and Lego. So Lego 2K Drive. May 19th for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series S and X, Switch, and PC. You are getting a Lego racing game. Yes, you can build your own cars. Yes, you can make a hamburger and drive it. Yes, you can. Absolutely. So when you were looking at when I was looking into this, yeah, that was one of the big things. And then one of my friends was discussing with me like, man, it's a Lego game. You better be able to build your own damn car.
You would hope.
You better be. A Lego game where you can't build your own car, like, come on. But yes, you can build your own car. But basically, the premise of this is welcome to Bricklandia,
Oh.
home of a massive open world Lego copyright driving adventure. Race anywhere, play with anyone, build your dream rides, and defeat a cast of wacky racing rivals for the coveted Sky Trophy. So anybody who wants to go ahead, build their own car, whoop some ass on the track, May 19th, you're going to be able to do that with the Lego 2K Drive. So this is going to have about 1,000 different digital Lego pieces.
That's a lot.
So it's a lot. 1,000 individual different ones. That's going to be massive. You can build some crazy shit with this,
Yeah.
let your imagination run wild, and then race it.
Shit, I'm for it.
I
I
can't
used to
think
build
of- I can't think of a better
Legos all the
Lego
time
game.
when I was a kid.
Yes.
And that was always one of the first thing I would want to build when I would get it out. Is I wanted to build a vehicle, whether it was something I would be like, oh, this is in Star Wars or whatever. I thought it was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it was always like
This
one of
looks
the
like
first
something
things.
that was in Star Wars.
Yeah. So it's like I always have built vehicles in with Legos, and now I can build it virtually and drive with it and race with it and compete. So I might check this out when it drops, but I just got to decide if
Honestly,
it's worth
I mean,
$60.
What's not to love? I mean, the price point, $60, yeah, but every game's $60 now, with
Yeah.
the exception of Tears of the Kingdom, which is going to be 70. And what are we going to do? Not buy it? But I mean, no, it great drop to come out of left field. I know a lot of people are happy and excited for this, and I mean, I might be seeing this on my screen as well.
Cool.
So, but speaking of people that come out of left field, when's the last time we heard anything out of Zack Snyder?
So Zack Snyder, obviously we know he's a huge, big movie director and whatnot, and we know his new movie that's coming out called Rebel Moon. And just to give you a quick synopsis of that movie, it's a young woman seeks out warriors from other planets to fight the tyrannical armies terrorizing her peaceful colony, and that movie is expected to hit theaters in December. So basically, his idea is I stole Star Wars idea, and I'm going to make my own movie in Star Wars. But it's not going to be in Star Wars. It's going to be like Star Wars, but not Star Wars. I love it. So I'm excited
Star
for it.
Wars. Can't wait.
Yeah, but he said that they're in the process of developing a Rebel Moon RPG set in this world, and I'm like, well, shit, I'm for it. Like, you already got me hooked. The movie, like some of the screenshots that they've already released and the premise of it has me hooked, and I'm like, man, this is going to be great. And then they were like, I'm going to make a game too, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even know if the movie's good, but damn, I'm excited for the game.
He's just hitting all corners of the market on that.
Right, it's
But
great.
I mean, it's Zack Snyder. I trust him.
Yeah, I do.
If you haven't seen the Snyder cut of
I haven't.
Justice League,
I've never
then
seen it.
go
I don't
ahead.
really watch
If,
much
if
DC
you go
stuff.
if you have like 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
go ahead and sit down and watch the Snyder cut of the Justice League because it's an entirely different movie and it's about 10 times better.
And to build
That's
off of that,
fucking Sony.
I don't know if you know, but Zack Snyder is hosting like a charity event, and he's going to be showcasing not only the Snyder cut of the that Justice League, but all of his Snyder cuts for all of his other DC movies that he has directed that are not officially out and not accessible at all, and he will be showcasing them at these charity events. And I was like, that is dope and badass. And he just said, "Fuck you, DC, and whoever owns DC at this point." Um,
Honestly, it's so like he is as trustworthy with DC as like Jon Favreau
with
with the
Star
Marvel
Wars,
universe
or
and
yeah,
Star Wars
yeah,
universe and Dave Filoni.
yeah.
Like
And the fact
if
that like
there's
they
one
don't
person
want
you're gonna
him
give
to
your
do
yeah,
it, they don't
it's
like. They're
just so dumb.
it,
When you realize that Justice League was about like 4 hours long, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but when you realize it was, and when you watch it, it is an entirely different movie. And then in classic fashion, who shot themselves in the foot? Same people that have been shooting themselves in the foot week to week to week here on our show, fucking Sony. And Sony got a hold of it. Sony cut that shit, and they made Henry Cavill's CGI non-mustache mouth a famous character. Like, that is it.
right.
Yeah, and so like having him, I think with him going ahead and creating an RPG, I'll trust it.
Yeah.
I'll trust it for
I'm
sure.
for it. Yeah, I'm definitely for it. I'm just curious to see who he has on board as a developer. That's going to be the key part because if it's a big time developer, we might get something great. If we have this brand new studio, we don't have no basis to go off of. But if he picks like some low mid tier developer, you're probably going to go into like, I'm not really sure about this. So that's going to be huge in regards to that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
moving on though, Sonic Frontiers was in the news again. What is going on here with this?
Ooh, I don't like the way you said. I don't like the way you said that. You're like, yeah, Sonic Frontiers. Hey, Sonic Frontiers is a great game. I know a lot of people
You
love
are.
that game,
It
but
is.
they're getting their first big DLC, and that DLC is going to cost you free 99. That is $3.99. And it's called the Sight, Sound, and Speed Update. That's going to come out on the 23rd. That's going to introduce a new couple things like photo mode is going to come in. Jukebox. Jukebox is going to come with 13 tracks with 40 tracks to be collected around the island. So that's going to give players a lot to do to try to complete that. And then you're also going to get two new challenge modes. So you're looking at the Battle Rush mode, which is players are going to face off against multiple bosses.
Which
And
sounds
then you get
crazy.
these cyber. It does. It's almost like a wave of. It looks like a wave of bosses. I can't wait to see how that one's gonna go. And then you get the cyberspace challenge, which is the time attack mode.
Yeah.
So that came out what today is the 26th, 3 days ago.
Yep.
So that was released, and I know some people have been in love with Sonic Frontiers. Hopefully, I'll ask around, see about some feedback on the new DLC, and see how everyone's feeling about that. But once again, just adding on to a game that is already very, very solid with some very, very solid additions.
Right.
Not to be confused with other games that might have just spray painted some new skins.
Right, exactly. I haven't checked out Sonic Frontiers yet. I know it has reviewed really well. It's been critically acclaimed, and it's a game that's added to my backlog. And I will probably eventually pick this up, and it'll probably be at its best, highest fidelity, most content, best looking by the time I do play it. So,
Absolutely. If you just wait for ray tracing, it's great.
yeah, ray tracing in Sonic, it'll be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on. So anybody who has been watching this show, anybody who's been speaking with me knows that I am a big defender of CD Projekt Red. Given a lot of the controversy surrounding their Cyberpunk 2077 release and some of the backlash that came with that because of everybody last gen consoles. Thank you so much. But yeah, so they are looking at a new multiplayer Witcher game from the studio Molasses Flood, been rebooted. So CD Projekt Red has spent over $7 million in 2022 on the Project Sirius's development. In 2023, the company has spent over $2.2 million So with this, it seems like CD Projekt Red is eating the cost in order to make the new Witcher game what it needs to be. And so when we say that, what we thought 2077 needed to be, and what everybody else thought 2077 needed to be. So it looks like they took that slap on the wrist a little bit hard when it came to the money. But that's also a good thing for us here at the buyer and the consumer end, to make sure that, I mean, if they put out something that's not suable, then we already know it's going to be very playable.
Yeah, right.
So it's going to be great. But they had said the aforementioned decision is based on results of evaluation of the scope and commercial potential of the original concept of Project Sirius, and ongoing work on formulating a new framework for this project. So it looks like they're taking that money. They've eaten it. They've eaten some costs. They're going back through. They're going to work on it and try to make sure it is everything that it needs to be when it is dropped and when it is released. Finally,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yeah, the fact that they spent over
done.
$9 million and they were just like, we're gonna start over.
They did. Yeah, they.
It's
And
crazy.
you know what? A 9 million loss for a potential gain
Yeah.
based off of what they're doing could be pennies. Could
Right.
be everything.
Right. I mean,
Um,
this is a
so-
multiplayer Witcher game, which is probably 99.99999% is going to have a microtransaction shop in the game. So you're going to make up that $9 million probably in the first week. Oh, just off
Yeah.
of microtransactions.
Yeah.
Easily.
But then they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna have to pay that back when they get sued for the microtransactions.
Yeah.
And
it's
that
the circle of life.
work from there. Yeah. It's the circle of life.
But
But speaking of circle of life,
yeah.
another game that I know we've been talking about how this is gonna be the summer of fighting games.
yeah.
And Tekken 8 decided to drop the official martial law gameplay trailer.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that up here as soon as the.
Can you roll that beautiful bean footage
Yeah, right after this advertisement by them.
right after this advertisement?
But yeah, I'm gonna get it pulled up here now. The, it's on the wrong one, but we'll get it there, guys. Bear with me here. Where did it go?
Another reason to subscribe. You get to see this stuff. You get to see us react in real time.
Right, it's all live. So we'll
It's
see
all
here.
part of the total immersion, baby girl.
Let's start that trailer over there. Bandai Namco, big hitter there coming out. Get it? Never mind.
Pun intended.
Yeah, and I'm not really trying to play any sound because I don't want to get hit with any copyright strikes or whatever bullshit that they
Oops.
could hit us with. So that's why you can't hear anything. But the trailer looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm not really big into fighting games, but it was awesome to see another character be announced. I mean, obviously Street Fighter 6 has been doing this week after week with new announcements of their new characters or who's going to be in the game. So as we say it every week, this is the time to be a fighter fan when it comes to games. The fighting genre is on a uprising renaissance, whatever words you want to use. Tekken 8 will probably be a massive hit when it does come out. The animations look really good. The character models look
Yeah.
really solid. I mean, look at the detail of him fucking shredding his skin basically from just. That's crazy.
How's my man have 10 muscles in his shoulder?
Right. I didn't even know that muscle existed until I watched this trailer.
Yeah, he's shredded. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It's fucking insane. So yeah, this was an awesome trailer that they dropped here a couple days ago to reveal the character Martial Law. And it was funny when they first announced, they were like Martial Law trailer, like the character, not the
Not the actual martial law?
Yeah, because obviously with the world and how that shit's going on right now, you just never know. The martial law
You're
might
just
get
not sure.
might get implemented at any given moment. But yeah, this definitely looks good. I mean, look at the finishers. Shit's insane.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun fight. I can't wait to see this in tournaments. I can't wait to see some Tekken tournaments coming around. I can't wait to see some Street Fighter tournaments coming around, Mortal Kombat tournaments coming around. I mean, it's a great year to be a fighter fan. It
sure
really is.
But man.
So, but speaking of fans for anybody, what are we looking over here at? What is that? Crash.
Yeah, man, we got Crash Team Rumble. Not the game everybody was looking for, but could be enjoyable. But it's being developed by Toys for Bob, which I want to talk about here in a few seconds. But just some quotes from the article just describing what Crash Team Rumble is. The primary goal is to bring the core platforming the IP is known for to the competitive multiplayer aspect of it. One thing that they wanted to clarify is that it won't be a MOBA at all. So they're calling it a strategic multiplayer platforming game. So that sounds like a really new kind of concept when it comes to multiplayer. But in the same sense, they did admit that this is a pretty generic description of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Um, and it pits two teams of four players against each other. Each character has their own unique abilities, locomotion, and even stats like health, wumpa, capacity, combat, mobility, and difficulty, making each choice going to be interesting. And the combinations, and obviously there's going to be a meta in fucking Crash Rumble Team or Team Rumble, so that'll be interesting to see there. The matches will be fast paced, taking about 4 to 5 minutes to complete, and the flow of the fights apparently depend on like just the selected arena and like how each character can interact with one another and against one another. So that'll be pretty interesting. But I wanted to circle back to my first point that it's being developed by Tours for Bob, and when they announced that this game was coming out and it was developed by them, everyone was like, whew, okay, we can breathe, because Toys for Bob was known for helping, assisting with the development of Call of Duty time
Mhm.
after time after time, and they thought that, yeah, they're no longer developing games, they're just another assist studio for Call of Duty. Nope, they are still developing games, whether it's a small game like Crash Team Rumble or maybe we got Crash 5 on the horizon, and this is just something to hold us over and build us up to that. So
Yeah,
awesome to
seeing
see.
Toys for Bob on that was definitely a breath of fresh air. However, I still think they really fucked up by not calling this Super Crash Bros. Like they,
That wouldn't have been a lawsuit or anything.
not at all. I mean, no.
But another franchise that has been around for 20 plus years, if not actually longer than that. What, I guess the 80s, I think, is when
Oh
Aliens
yeah.
first came out, maybe 70s. So Aliens Dark Descent was announced last summer, I think it was, or maybe even this past year's Game Awards. But they released a new exclusive gameplay release date trailer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that up on screen here. This one should be a lot easier to get since I have it already set up. I just forgot to do it the last time. So let's give this one a go. Check this out. This one is a interesting game because like the trailer when I first released the first trailer, we were like, me and Roger were like, yo, this game looks fucking dope. It's dark, it's gritty, it's intense, it's that alien universe, and then find out it's like a top-down twin stick shooter, and we're like, ugh. Like
The
that's
disappoint
not what we wanted because like you're not
the
gonna feel
disappoint
immersed into that universe when you're in the top down shooter aspect of it. But it may be a game that I want to check out just because like I kind of enjoyed the Ascent when we first played it. It just the story was really broken and just didn't mend at all. So this might have a better storyline to follow, and the gameplay still might be fun. Obviously, it's a. I wonder if it's co-op at all. I don't know if this one you will be able to or not, but we'll definitely wait and see. Um, you're always in like a squad of like four or something like that. You have a squad of Marines with you at all times, but like there is permadeath, is what I learned from the trailer too. So like if you lose one of the guys, like that's it, they're dead. Like
they're gone.
fuck.
They gone.
Yeah, like that's going to be intense. So I mean, graphically this game looks really impressive. I'm just I just hope that story is there, the gameplay mechanics is there, the gameplay loop keeps you wanting to come back and wanting to progress further.
Yeah.
I'm always a huge fan of the Alien series. One of my favorite movies is Prometheus, which is a prequel to the Alien franchise, where the aliens really came from,
Yeah, this does look really good.
and the fact that we have a new movie and TV show in
Yeah.
development as well. So it just building off the hype one
Mhm.
after another. I mean, look at that lighting. I mean, it's really
Yeah,
fucking
it looks
impressive.
fantastic. It really does.
But it's going to come down to that gameplay loop and the story, honestly.
It really will. Yeah. I mean, visually, it looks fantastic. It looks nice, smooth. The graphics are fantastic. I mean, yeah,
Looks intense.
yeah, it looks great.
And I really like the cyberpunk esque like aesthetic
Yeah,
it has as well. So like that'll be pretty cool to see how that plays out. So maybe this game comes to Game Pass because a lot of Alien games have came to Game Pass, like the Fire Team, Elite Fire Team, and then Alien Isolation was on Game Pass as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox snags another deal to bring this one over.
yep.
as well. Let me close out of that so we don't get that playing in the background. But moving on here to our last gaming news topic, and this is like a two-part here, just because developer Squanch Games has tweeted out that High on Knife is coming soon, which is a DLC for the game High on Life. And if people have not played that, go play that fucking game. It was probably one of the best games I've played in recent years. A lot of fun. The humor is dark and just very mature. So it's definitely a really fun game. But the other side of this here, the second point, is Justin Roiland's domestic violence charges have been dropped. And this is the guy, the creator of Rick and Morty, like the voice actors and everything. He is Rick and Morty. He is High on Life, and without him, it's hard to make any of that content. But he did tweet it out saying, "I've always known that these claims were false, and I never had any doubt this day would come. I'm thankful for that this case has been dismissed, but at the same time, I'm still deeply shaken by the horrible lies that were reported about me during this process." Basically, this person lied and said they beat them, and in reality, he didn't. And he let the court system play out and made a fool out of that other person.
It's it's upsetting though, because
Yeah,
this gives Johnny Depp Amber Heard vibes
yeah,
really bad. Um, where you had like Warner Brothers Studio with Johnny Depp, when Johnny Depp gave them the evidence and gave showed them the evidence in court, and still they were like, yeah, the evidence doesn't matter, it's about the image.
yeah,
And they were directly quoted saying the evidence doesn't matter.
yeah,
And this is I really hope it doesn't play out like this as well. I mean,
yeah,
I guess it all kind of came back in the end.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that is an image that is gonna be forever tarnished with something that wasn't true.
Right. Because think about it. He was cut
Yeah,
from all of the companies that he worked with
he
because of
was
this.
dropped like a hot bag of shit
Right. So,
immediately.
does he come back? Does he go back to working on High on Life? Does he go back to helping out with Rick and Morty? Do they pick him back up? Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, like, hey, sorry that happened. Sorry for the miscommunication. So, but that's also a very gray area, Like, you don't want to sit there and still continue to support and pay somebody who might have done those awful, awful things.
Right.
But it was just the smear
Yeah.
that had happened, and I mean, I don't talk to him. I don't know the guy,
Right.
but like personally, I would be like, well, I watched everybody turn on me
In a second. In a
in a
blip.
day. In a day, I watched every single one of these people who loved my work, loved what I do, loved my content, loved my my productions into
Hmm.
the world, just turn around and shit
Right.
directly on me. That'd be a really hard thing to come back from. Just because at that point you would be like, what am I making of this? What Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to put it.
Is really what it is, and that directly. I mean, that using the own quote from Rick and Morty, your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Like
Yeah.
your cheers mean nothing to me because I've seen how quick you guys just drop
Yeah.
and move on. Now, once again, not to downplay an allegation like that because that is a very serious allegation, but that's really hard to come back from when everything's been proven false and you were just left out in the cold like that with nobody, not a lot of people really supporting you.
Right.
So hopefully he can come back from this, make some more games, do some more Rick and Morty stuff, see,
Hmm.
or maybe something else entirely. We'll see,
Yeah.
but hopefully that's not the end of Justin Roiland's tenure in the media
Yeah, for
field.
sure. So that's all of our gaming news. Let's finish out the episode with our gaming leaks and rumors. We just got two here for you, so I'll kick off the first one here with Xbox related news. Obviously, with Atlas, we just saw Persona like 3, 4, and 5 drop on Xbox for the first time and Game Pass day one. But there has been a rumor or leak reported by Game Rant saying that Shin Megami Tensei 3, 4 Apocalypse, and 5 could be coming to Game Pass sometime in the spring. And that's just huge because now you're just adding another game for from that Japanese market to one to allow us to have experience a little bit easier, but just to tie it in and just be like given a reason for that Japanese market to pick up an Xbox because now you have all of the big Atlas games on one console under the Game Pass subscription. It just it would make it's a no brainer. And they also just recently brought on was it Soul Hacker 2 was another Atlas game that was just brought to Game Pass. So really eager to see how that plays
Yeah,
out.
I love that to see if that's gonna come out.
Yeah. And then last leak here in regards to Xbox, kind of is
So
the mobile
yeah,
game store.
kinda.
Yeah. So it's like they already said that this is what we want to do. It just all depends on legislation, and they want to bring a mobile game store. So on the, say for iPhone, there's only one app store and that's it. You can't have any other store on your phone. Well, with the new legislation that's supposed to be going through, is going to be requiring all these companies to allow other app stores to be on your device. So now you have the Apple App Store, you'll have the Microsoft Game Store, whatever the hell they decide to call it, and then you'll be able to download games and access Game Pass and do all that kind of stuff. So the plan is to launch it next year as long as these legislation plays through in their favor. But Scott, if you want to go ahead and round out our leaks and rumors for this week.
Yeah, so it looks like we might be getting 3 popular characters from the past coming in season 3. So a leaker known as Task Force Leakers 141 tweeted claims that Alejandro Vargas, Valeria Garza, and Alex Keller could be coming into season 3. So this was based off of people looking at the data. So they were data mining, and the data mining has found voice lines and loading screens.
Yeah.
The artwork for loading screens for one, some, or all of these individuals. So looking to see how that's going to play out in season 3. See how they want to pull that in
Yeah.
into what the storyline they have going.
Mhm.
So interesting there if that's going to be true, and I can't wait to see how they play that out if it is.
Yeah, my guess will be part of the battle pass, and
Yeah.
then Alessandro and Valeria are from the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. For those who have not
Mhm.
played it, Alex is from the Modern Warfare 2019's campaign, and apparently ties into the raid, the season 2 raid that just came
Yep.
out as well. So definitely, it's pretty cool to see these characters finally come because these are 3 very popular characters in the Call of Duty universe. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, man. So that's all of our gaming news, leaks, rumors, and all that shebang. So we want to thank everyone who did check us out live here on Twitch, and everyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But Scott, where can the viewers find you at?
So you can find me on twitch.tv/Scoby1. You can find me on Steam, Scoby1. You can find me on Facebook, Scott Roby, and you can find me on Instagram, Scoby1. If you're looking for my BattleNet, that's going to be Scoby1, 11780 are my numbers. And if you're looking to hang out on Discord and just shoot the shit or play some games, Scoby19369. What about you, Vic?
Of course, you can check me over at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _ Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. You want a game, party up, hit me up there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, or even if you want to come on the show. We would love to have you. And I'm streaming over on my Twitch at Mr. Never Chillin, and right now I'm playing Tinykin and hopefully diving into Rage 2 and Hogwarts Legacy like I keep talking about. But we do want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Have a good night.
Press start podcast.